Allora ragazzi, stiamo registrando, eh? Questo è l'avvenimento ufficiale Presentation Day del nostro ciclo di laboratori CLIL di inglese di quest'anno 2019-2020. From now on, we speak English. Okay, everybody?
Yes.
Okay.
Good luck.
Yes, we see you. I see you. I saw you. I've seen you.
In 1975, Bill Gates and Paul Allen created the Microsoft. IBM in 1980 was looking for an operating system for its new computer, the IBM PC. The Microsoft created the MS-DOS for them. It was the first Microsoft operating system. Windows 95, of course born in 1995, introduced some important innovation in the domestic informatic technology. It had some important announcements such as the Start menu, the toolbar, and the Windows Explorer, where the Internet supports the remote connection and the browser Internet Explorer are incorporated. Windows 95 was the first operating system with the service pack. The final Windows is Final 10, was released in 2015. It had a lot of interesting news. For example, the application bar, a new start menu, the Cortana vocal assistant, a new settings app, and the notification set.
C is mostly used for kernel code, while C is mostly used for user mode code. Throughout the operating system, assembly is used sparingly. It has been avoided when possible. Okay, why is the Windows NT kernel referred as a hybrid kernel? Well, because the emulation subsystems run in user mode server processes. Windows NT kernel mode grants full access to the hardware and system resources.
Okay. FAT, file collection table, is one of the simplest file system types. The files in FAT are stored in directories. Each directory is an array of 32 bytes. As these drives evolved, the capabilities of the file system have been extended. So there are three major file system variants, which is FAT12, FAT16, and FAT32. So NTF is abbreviation of New Technology File System.
What is this, boys? This is a bonus slide.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
We thought it was important. This was the sketch thing we did at the start, just to get an idea of how the Windows names and Windows types were divided, because yeah, it's actually really hard, because there are a lot of Windows NT, a lot of Windows 9X with different names which are pretty much the same thing. So dividing them was really hard, and yeah, by doing this, we made all the other processes of making the presentation very easy.
I think there was someone who had a question.
What are the user mode process?
Yeah, okay. User mode processes are okay, it's one of the two distinct execution modes for the CPU.
But it's time to move to the second group, and it is Mac OS starting Martino.
Yeah, okay. So today, me, Justin Nika, and Andrea are going to talk about the macOS operating system. I'll start by talking about the history of the macOS operating system. Justin will talk about the kernel, and Andrea will talk about the file system. The Macintosh project started in the late 70s with Jeff Raskin, who envisioned an easy-to-use, low-cost computer for the average consumer. In January 1981, Jobs completely took over the Macintosh project and released what we know now as Classic macOS in 1984. I couldn't fit really all the things that I wanted because of time restraints, so now I'm going to pass the word to Justin.
You can hear me?
Yes,
Yeah, we
Justin.
can, we
can.
Welcome
Hello.
back.
Sorry for the time lost, but
Never mind. Go quickly.
okay. The topic of my presentation is Dexino. Dexino is the kernel used in the operating system macOS. The acronym is X is not Unix. But now the function of this kernel it was different because you can use the Mac for doing the low-level function such as the management of the virtual memory. The second main part of the Xeno is the BSD. The BSD, acronym of the Berkeley System Distribution, is the monolithic part of the Xeno, and it was developed in the Berkeley University, California. Now, Andrea, I can leave you the word.
Okay, the APFS. The APFS, or Apple File System, is the latest version of the macOS file system. It was announced for the first time at the Apple Worldwide Developers Conference, replacing the HFS Plus, which had been in use since 1998. It is interesting because the APFS is also the watchOS, tvOS, and iOS file system. HFS Plus and HFS, which were the older versions of macOS file system, were abandoned because of because they were becoming obsolete.
When Spazzali will share his desktop, we can start. Linus Torvalds is the creator of Linux. He started his work in 1991 while he was studying computer science in Helsinki. With his work, he wanted to create a new free operating system kernel. The use of Linux for business were less efficient than the same use of Windows. 2009, Windows sent to Linux 22,000 lines of code for the Linux kernel.
Next group, iOS.
Okay. Our group will present the iOS as operating system and is composed by Biagio Tamaro, who will illustrate the file system, by Daniel Prete, who will illustrate the kernel. Finally, there is me, Creative Francesco, that I will illustrate the history and description of the iOS. The creator of this operating system, called iOS, is Steve Jobs. In 25, Steve Jobs planning the iPhone. In October 2016, Apple opened its first iOS Developer Academy in Napoli. Based on January 9, 2007, and was presented at the Macworld Conference and Expo in San Francisco.
Welcome, dear teachers and dear classmates. Now we are going to speak about Android. I am Piero Glavina and I will speak about Android history. And Ivan Urlini will talk about file system and Guglielmo will talk about the kernel. What is Android? Android is an operating system for mobile devices. It's an open source operating system, and the first version of this operating system was Android 1.0. We can describe the history of the Android industries in 3 steps. The first steps at the origins, the Android industries developed the software for digital cameras, and now Android is one of the biggest company in the world for the mobile operating systems. Yes, now a small curiosity. Why are Android versions named after sweets? Like Marshmallow, Kit Kat, Jelly Bean. This because Android think that these names create a sense of appeal or attract more the people, and it can invite more people to buy the smartphone.
Can you hear me?
E chi ci ferma a noi? Bravissimi.
Good boys. Good boys.